Maelfu ya Wakenya hasa vijana hujitokeza kila mwaka kuomba vyeti vya polisi vikitumika kuomba kazi, kusafiri au kujisajili kwa taasisi mbalimbali. Lakini kwa wengi, kosa moja la zamani linaendelea kuwatenga na fursa ya maisha bora. Mapema leo hii alipofika mbele ya kamati, mbunge wa Embakasi Mashariki Babu Owino aliwasilisha mswada unaopendekeza sheria ya kufuta baadhi ya rekodi za kihalifu baada ya muda fulani kupita.
Chairman, we've had circumstances where Kenyans have been looking for jobs, but they can't get jobs due to the criminal records that's hanging on their shoulders. Chairman, once a member of the society is convicted and a person serves a sentence, either in prison or fined or both, then Chairman, this person, they are always required, the moment they've cleared the service and they are looking for a job, they're always required to produce a clearance certificate or a certificate of good conduct, which is issued from the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. And then, Chairman, the moment you're issued with this certificate of good conduct, the criminal record always is attached or is part enshrined in this document. So the moment you go look for a job, young men and women in this country, the moment they go look for a job and a criminal record is seen on this document, then that is a ground enough for one not to be admitted, or rather not to qualify for the job.
Mswada huu unachochewa na uamuzi wa Mahakama Kuu wa mwaka 2023 katika kesi ya Ibrahim King'ori Njoki dhidi ya DCI na wengine, ambapo mahakama ilisema hakuna sheria ya wazi ya kufuta rekodi hizo.
King'ori Njoki, who served for 6 months having committed a crime, was charged with creating disturbance. And Chairman, this was after 20 years down the line. This gentleman went to look for a job, but could not be given a job because of the criminal record that he had, having served for 6 months. So this gentleman did a petition to the court, but the court gave guidance that I will read on what ought to have been done. So you find such a Kenyan who had served and was rehabilitated, because that is the essence of the sentences. So such Kenyan lost a job just because he didn't have a clean record.
Mahakama ilipendekeza Kenya kufuata mfano wa Afrika Kusini, ambapo kuna mfumo wazi wa kuomba kufutwa kwa rekodi kulingana na uzito wa kosa au muda uliopita.
What I'm trying to amend to include in the Criminal Procedure Code is such that the criminal record of such persons who have served their sentences or paid the fine or both should be expunged, and they should now be clean because they have already served, save for some of the offenses like the sexual offenses, Chairman, which are rape, defilement, sodomy, and even incest, and also save for capital offenses like murder, robbery with violence, treason.
Kulingana na Babu Owino, kwa watu kama hawa mswada huu si karatasi tu ya sheria, ni mwanga wa matumaini na mwanzo wa mwanzo mpya.
You've exempted capital offenses, and we know what the capital offenses are: murder, treason, robbery with violence, and if any other that carries the death sentence. That's why they are called capital offenses, because they carry the death sentence. We're just in the process of reforming the law so that first and foremost we do away with the death sentence, which means we will not have any capital offenses after that. And we possibly going to graduate offenses that were capital depending on gravity, degree of involvement in each of them. How will that compare with what you're proposing here? Because if the exemption is not so clear, we will have people entitled to expungement not benefiting from it, because the offense they were charged with is capital, but they served only 5 years. And here it is 10 years, but for capital offenses, no expungement. That's number one. It is in respect of the laws we are just about to amend. So it must be in consonance with what you are proposing here on expungement.
I can see that there is a proposal to exempt persons who have been convicted for murder and for sexual offenses. I think that is the case. That persons convicted for murder and sexual offense will not be eligible for expansion. Why don't you consider everybody else who has been convicted of violent offense, aggravated assault, for example, young people who you actively advocate for, but young people are all over knifing everybody in town. So there is a lot of violent offenses associated with assault.
The principle of double jeopardy, that you don't need to be punished twice. You've already served, you've already cleared yourself, and you having this tag on your back might lead, chairman, to you even committing more crimes. Because if there is no job and you cannot be accepted into the community, into the society, because of the stigma and the thought that you are forever criminal, then this person might find a prison a better place to live in and might decide to commit other crimes to go back there. The CJ, Honorable TJ, talked about the same issue of the capital offenses and advocates that there are certain cases that can also be added into the list, which I also agree, depending on what the committee will decide. So there are certain cases like grievous harm, but the degree should also be considered, because even a scratch can amount to a grievous harm. But now I think it depends on the degree of the injury that is caused. So I agree with my brother on that. Then I also agree with this proposal that at least the moment you are out, at least a minimum period, time should be given so that you are monitored as you integrate into the society. That can even be a 1 or 2 year period to note, because some people might come out, but the intention is still to go back.
Iwapo kamati hii itapendezwa na kufurahishwa na mswada huu, basi utapelekwa katika bunge la kitaifa ambapo utajadiliwa na kuwa sheria, na sheria hii itawapa Wakenya nafasi nyingine ya kujenga maisha yao katika shughuli zao za kila siku hata baada ya kukosea.
I also agree, depending on what the committee will decide. So there are certain cases like grievous harm, but the degree should also be considered, because even a scratch can amount to a grievous harm. But now I think it depends on the degree of the injury that is caused. So I agree with my brother on that. Then I also agree with this proposal that at least the moment you are out, at least a minimum period, time should be given so that you are monitored as you integrate into the society. That can even be a 1 or 2 year period to note, because some people might come out, but the intention is still to go back. Right? So I agree with my brother. The juvenile offenders should get automatic exemption. I think I also agree with that. So, Chairman, generally, I'll stand guided by the committee.
Yes, I think you've made it.
Yes.
Those are committee observations.
Kwa kuanzisha sheria hii, Kenya inaweza kuwapa maelfu ya raia wake fursa ya pili maishani kwa haki, utu na matumaini. Nikiripotia Mwaredio kutoka katika majengo ya bunge jiji kuu la Nairobi, jina langu ni Ronnie Reagan.
Very much, Honorable Babu.
Maelfu ya Wakenya hasa vijana hujitokeza kila mwaka kuomba vyeti vya polisi vikitumika kuomba
More radio, 88.2 FM. We are in charge. More radio, 88.2 FM. We are in charge. More radio, 88.2 FM. We